We'll give them another minute before we get started. Yeah, I see we've got a couple of people in as attendees. Just wait another minute or so, and then Mark and I will begin. As a reminder, and I'll say this again during the session, if you have questions throughout the webinar, if anybody else pops on, I can start sharing the screen now. Okay, Mark, you have that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. And there you are.
Eric,
Perfect.
real quick, I love the tagline, limitless communications. Who came up with that one?
Actually, our CEO, Nir, came up with that one because we've been going through a lot of concepts about what we do, and maximum communications didn't really give the concept. What Cloudonix is trying to do is we're trying to expand what is possible beyond any limits today, which is kind of where actually the discussions with Balto started, because some of the tech that we're looking to make possible and we're going to start showing in this webinar are things that are not easily done on any existing platform and sometimes require a lot of working around back and adding extra things to make it possible. So the idea of why limit the communication on technology, on business model, on what you can do, why limit your business plan and your funding model just didn't make sense to us. So this is where limitless came from.
Very cool. Very cool. And the assonance is nice too, by the way, the limitless communications. It kind of,
Yes.
or the assonance, it has like a nice little like rhyme to it.
Yeah, it alliterates nicely.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I love the Balto dog.
Thank you. You know, we're actually just about to release in just maybe 2 or 3 weeks, a slightly revised version where the dog's head is tilted a little more up, a little bit prouder. We've gotten prouder over the last 4.5 years, but hopefully not too full of ourselves.
That's a good answer. Okay, so let's get started. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this first partner presentation between Cloudonix and Balto. We're going to explain a little bit about how working together, the joint solutions can help save up to 3 minutes per sales call. And the importance of that is per minute that the sales agent is on a call costs the call center on average $1. And the faster you get them in, you're not only saving money, but it means that they can now perform more calls per hour. So you can actually get better productivity, better service with happier customer interaction. And this is where we're taking this, okay? And if you have questions, please use the Q&A or chat and let us know. We will answer them at the end. Okay, very simple. You have myself and you have Mark. I'll let Mark introduce himself in a second. Then we'll go and explain to get them on the hook, how you get them in, which is the Cloudonix piece of this, how you reel them in, which is the Balto piece of this. We'll do a quick live demo of how the two work together, a wrap up and any Q&A that you have, and special promotions at the end. So you really should stick around for that. Okay. I'm Eric Klein. I am co-founder of Cloudonix, Chief Operating Officer, CISO. I like to joke that my job title is do all the things that have to be done so the developers can turn caffeine into code. Okay. Mark?
Yeah, nice to meet you all. I am Mark Bernstein. I'm the CEO at Balto, and we essentially allow you to scale excellent sales and service conversations to your entire organization with the push of a button. Started Balto with 2 other founders just around 4.5 years ago. And we now have a base of well over 100 customers, and we've analyzed over 65 million calls and delivered over 150 million real-time recommendations to help sales and service folks be as effective as possible right there when they're on the phone. So excited to talk to you all today.
So coming from telecom, what you guys are doing is amazing, because in the past, this has always required one supervisor to listen in and kind of prompt the agent. And you're now able to do this for all the agents without needing a one-to-one relationship. So this is kind of what got my attention about what you're doing. Love the product. Okay, a little bit about Cloudonix, putting them on the hook. Okay, our vision is to become the in-platform communications provider, making it accessible to all companies for a simpler, faster, and more affordable solution to enable you to connect any digital asset directly into your sales or support team. Okay, but problems that we are seeing customers having today is, where are their customers? How do they communicate? Okay, so you have a mobile application, you have a customer care portal, you have cell phone, you have text messaging, you have Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, Telegram, all of these different channels to enable people to connect to you. This is a wonderful way of connecting. The problem is your app and your business are no longer on your platform. The minute somebody goes out to WhatsApp to communicate with you, WhatsApp controls the experience. Okay, you lose some of the context by going out to an SMS or to a phone call. You lose some of the reasons of why they're there. And the whole experience is no longer yours. And to us, this seems a little bit of a horrible way to lose things. Okay, it's your customer experience. You want to make it happen. Okay, so what we've done is we've looked at this, and when the customer falls out of the application, running ahead of myself, all channels that are outside of your app, outside of your experience, suddenly become somebody else's. And this means you lose a lot. Okay, so here's an example of how it works. You have a mobile application, and the customer, in this particular case, it's an auto insurance one. Customer calls from the mobile app saying, I had an accident. Okay, now today they call an 800 number, it goes out to the agent asks, what's your policy number? We're like, that doesn't make sense. The app has this information. It knows where you are, it knows who you are. We take the information and we send it through the Cloudonix platform directly up into the agent, okay, using Balto. Okay, and now the agent knows what is your policy number, where is your location, and the fact that you called, I had an accident. Potentially, they are now able to connect to the computer in the car via Bluetooth, and the car says, nope, this car ain't going anywhere. Okay, so now they can say, okay, we'll send you a tow truck. Now, can you send me pictures of what the accident looks like, the scene? You say there was no stop sign, show me the location where the stop sign's missing. Now, the problem with these kinds of things is if it is on a phone call, you have no connection. If it's on WhatsApp, it's not connected to the CRM, to the system. The agent then gives an instruction, and you go into take a photograph of the scene. It goes through Cloudonix. Oops, what, it went fast. Come on. And that is not showing the animation correctly. Love live demos. So the idea is it comes from the app. Okay, show this here. It comes from the app through Cloudonix, takes the picture that the agent has instructed you to do, sends it to the CRM, and the call is then resolved. So they can now take the photographs, hand them off to an auditor, to somebody who can appraise the damage, and you can resolve that without having to have them tow the car, wait a week for an appraiser to show up so nobody's working on the car, and it makes it for a much faster, better experience, where they can potentially turn around and say, okay, the nearest tow truck is going to be 2 hours away. Let me send you a pizza. Do you want Diet Coke or regular? Okay, and it makes for the whole situation to be a much better experience for the customer. There we get the animation. Okay, now by doing this, we've now taken the call and handed off that information to Balto. What is the policy number? Which button did you press? Are you calling, I want to buy it policy, I want to renew, I had an accident, I need a tow? All of that information goes to Balto, which makes it easier for Balto to know which script to bring up. And for this, I let Mark take it over.
Thank you so much, Eric. And by the way, how much better would all of our customer service experiences be if at the end they offered us a pizza and a Diet Coke? I think we should be thinking creatively about how we can scale out that sort of beautiful white glove service to our customers, because in this next era of customer service where everything's shifting toward a profit center and the customer lifetime and maintain that customer is getting more and more important, we're going to need to be really thoughtful about how we can go above and beyond to build loyalty for our brand versus for the other brand. So I'll talk to you today about what it looks like to reel them in. Next slide, please.
Okay.
So if you think about how coaching currently happens in the contact center, there is this culture and this process that doesn't work. And that is that the coaching is not happening when the call is happening. It's either happening before, in the sense of like this big classroom training when all the agents get ramped, but they're spending weeks learning your training and then forgetting on average 59% of what they learn a week after they learn it. And that's based on stats from the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve, which is essentially mapping retention of information over time. So 1 week after your training, half of what they learned is gone. And you're reviewing maybe 2% of your calls. You know, we'll hear most commonly is about 2 calls a month. On the absolute, high end is 2 calls a week, 8 calls a month. I imagine your agents are making more than 2 to 8 calls a month. So what's happening to the other 98% of your calls? Having no visibility into those is currently a problem. And I think that in conversation intelligence and the trends that are coming up, people have started to recognize that. And then you kind of get the last bit, which is, okay, let's say it's a sales interaction, or let's say it's a customer service interaction. What percentage of them go badly for very preventable reasons? Not because there's something the agent simply couldn't have handled. There was some crazy question that they've never trained on. And in fact, we actually did a survey where we asked over 1,000 English-speaking agents in the US, what is the #1 reason that you make a mistake on a call? And 12% of agents said that I didn't have the proper training. 22% of agents said, I just forgot the right thing to say. So we gave agents an out and said, please blame your training. Say you weren't trained. They said, no, problem is I was trained. I just didn't remember it when I needed to. How do we bridge that gap from what your agents are learning early on to what they're doing when they're talking with a customer right there? And then, so that's kind of the training and the onboarding. And then you look at the ongoing coaching. And the ongoing coaching kind of sounds like this. You are sitting there as a manager and you're flipping through calls and you're saying, I'm going to find a good one to coach on. So maybe you strike gold and you find a perfect call to coach on the first time. Maybe you have to listen to 5 recordings before you find a good one. It's annoying. Then you listen to the call, you go, okay, this is a good one. I'm going to coach on that. And you write down all your talking points. Well, the agent already had the call. The agent already made the mistake. And now you say, hey, I'm going to pull you off the phone. You're going to have less productive time than you had before. And we're going to sit here front to front. And I'm going to do the Socratic method. And we're going to pause the call recording at different places. You already had this call, so you're listening to it for a second time. I'm listening to it a second or third time. And we're going to keep pausing the call recording. And I'll say, so what do you think you could have done better here? And the agent's like, please just tell me what I need to do better. But you say, no, you're not going to learn if I do that. And that's how it currently works. Not the best practice. What if on 100% of calls, agents could get coaching? What if they get coaching before mistakes happen in real time? And what if this relationship between the rep and the manager wasn't the manager sitting there digging through old call recordings, trying to find something and then grilling the rep on how they can be better, but instead reps and managers working together to win calls? And if you think about the best coaching relationships that we've had in our lives, either in sports, that's where your kid is on the soccer field and your kid is right there in front of the goal and you say, shoot, and the kid shoots and scores and you both celebrate. Like, those are the coaching moments that make a difference that we remember. How can we create more of those in the contact center? Next slide, please. It's time for real-time guidance. There we go. We got the animation. So we invented real-time guidance to solve this problem. And that essentially has two different pieces: real-time coaching and real-time management. Real-time coaching is right there guiding agents as they're actually making the calls in real time, analyzing everything that they're saying live on the call, everything the customer is saying live on the call, and giving them recommendations on their computer screen for how they can be as effective as possible. So real-time coaching is going to help reps drive great conversations, close confidently, and consistently perform at the absolute highest level that they can. And it's so fast, we actually say it gives recommendations in real time faster than if you were to ask Alexa what the weather is. So we're pairing that with real-time management. So real-time coaching, the automatic guiding for the agent, real-time manager, bringing the manager in this situation so you know exactly what's happening on 100% of your calls, giving you real-time notifications about who needs help right now in the moment and who doesn't, so you can make real changes to your live performance that result in more leads and more sales. And by the way, we are 100% redacting all PCI, PII, and PHI in memory. So it's never even saved. So any of the stuff that you might be worried about saving, like credit card info or customer names, it's never even saved at all. It's redacted right there instantaneously in real time. We'll show you a little bit about that too. Next slide, please. So a couple of the different use cases that you'll see, and we'll walk through a couple of examples, is helping agents close more leads, schedule more appointments, and overcome different prospect concerns and objections. So you can think about, what if every one of my agents always asked for the appointment? What if everyone always did that? How would the schedule rates go up? What if every one of my agents confirmed the appointment and made very clear that this is a firm appointment on the books, this is not a wishy-washy tentative one? What if that happened? How would my show rates go up? What if every time someone got an objection, said, I need to talk to my husband or wife or spouse, the agents right there in the moment responded with the absolute best thing they can say? Well, those are the different scenarios that we've optimized Balto for, and we guide agents to execute those skills right there in real time on every call. Thank you, Eric. Next slide. And then on the analytics side, everything that the agent is seeing in real time has that mirror experience for the manager. So there's no, well, I thought I was doing it right. No, you weren't doing it right. Well, actually, you're supposed to do it this way. Everyone's totally on the same page about what's happening on the calls and how agents are doing. And it's not, you're not on the same page for the 2 calls that QA scored. You say, no fair. I was having a bad day that day, or I was sick, or my kid was sick at home, and that's why my entire month of bonus is shot. Nope, not anymore. You now have 100% of your calls being scored to provide a fair and objective view that the agent and the manager can both rally around. And if you're giving recommendations in real time, it means you can test stuff. You can say, show these agents that recommendation, show these agents this recommendation, and actually see what questions drive closes, what value propositions drive closes, how you can drive stickiness. We say that the marketing world has been A/B testing since the Sears catalog. It's time for the sales and service world to catch up. Next slide. And now we're on to the demo. Eric, back to you, my friend.
Okay, so now we come to the demo. This is a simple example based on a real estate situation. I actually created this slide before the last presidential election. And the idea here is, when you are actually going out to buy a house, it has already been listed with multiple realtors, but the one that you speak to first is the one that is the most likely one you're going to want to have the offer go through. This is the one you're going to schedule the meeting with. So if you're calling multiple people and you're waiting for a voicemail and waiting for a callback, this is a problem. Okay, statistically speaking, if you wait 20 minutes for a callback, you've lost 80% chance of closing the deal. Okay, so the faster you have a customer or a prospect talking to a sales agent, the more readily you're going to have them remember why they called, why they wanted to talk to somebody, what product they want. Oh, never mind, I already bought it, or I'm sorry, I can't talk now, I'm sitting down to dinner, or I'm in the bathroom, whatever the excuse is. the callback doesn't work. So what Cloudonix is doing is making that call, just like with the insurance example, the answer of who's calling, not necessarily the person, but a person interested in a particular property. And since this one was based on the US election, let's use the White House and say, I want to make a call and order in an appointment for the White House. Okay, so it comes in, you see it's counting down for 5 seconds. And while it starts to ring, I'm going to move that over to let Mark take over the sharing and show the Balto side.
Thank you, Eric. And right when it happens, ring, ring, you get a trigger that's sent to Balto that says, hey, call just started. Here's some basic metadata, what's happening. Let's start up. And right here are the key talking points that the rep needs to give right there on the call. So I'll go over 3 things with you briefly. One is how you can make sure they hit their key talking points. The second, how you make sure they overcome objections. And the third is how you can make sure that they don't set wishy-washy appointments and get really good sales. So with the checklist here, you might say, hey, tell me, what got you interested in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue to start out with? Hey,
love the light columns.
You love the columns. Me too. Well, hey, do you have any other questions before we schedule your viewing? Okay. Well, I'm sorry, I was doing it one way here.
No, you go on with it. I won't do this as a conversation. We'll just let you do your side of the demo.
Yeah, but I think everyone can kind of see like this is really how the interaction works, where Eric would be the customer and I would be the agent. And I'd say, perfect. We have you scheduled for tomorrow at 6:40 p.m. Now, is there anything that could come up between now and the next time we talk that could cause you to cancel? By the way, folks, we found that this question, which we call a sticky question, significantly reduces cancellations. Get your customer proactively tell you, I can't think of any reason I'd cancel. One of the best ways to increase your show up rate, really easy. Well, perfect. Please let us know just 24 hours in advance if you need to reschedule. And by the way, we know that it could be really helpful to receive reminders. Would you like to receive a reminder the day before about your appointment? We could do that over call or text or whatever's best for you. Wonderful. Well, it's been really nice speaking to you today. I'm going to send you out a confirmation email shortly about your appointment.
And the one thing that you haven't gotten to yet is I really need to speak to my wife before I make a decision kind of objections.
Absolutely. So if you say as the customer, I really need to speak with my wife or my husband, they're the one who's responsible for this. Balto automatically pops up your talking points right here. And that's why I demo with my hands so everyone can see I wasn't clicking anything. So, hey, Eric, I understand. It's important to talk through big decisions with the people you trust. Now, let me ask, what are some of the questions that you still have about working with us? Now, is your spouse available right now? What are some of the concerns they might have about moving forward? Those are all the things that we wish our reps would ask to overcome objections right there in the moment. Now you type it in, hit a button, and put out those best practices at scale. The last thing I'll show you, everybody, before we wrap up is getting rid of the bad behaviors, right? Maybe you have compliance things you want people to not do. Maybe you want to make sure that you don't offer wishy-washy appointments. Well, Balto hears me say, well, no problem. Let's just set a tentative appointment for sometime next week. You can just cancel anytime. Actually, I should let you know, it's a firm appointment on the books, but you can call me directly on my line to reschedule. Let me give you my number just in case. That's the sort of thing that changes your metrics all throughout the funnel. So you don't have agents who arrive there at the home and then say, oh, wait, I got no-showed, right? Not a good way to maintain your ecosystem and keep healthy partnerships. Balto helps you solidify every part of that funnel. Thank you so much, Eric. Back to you here.
Okay, taking back the screen. Okay. So as part of this demonstration and webinar, we were offering promos from both Balto and Cloudonix. So if you'd like to schedule a demo with either company, we'll have somebody put the contact information and the Calendly links into, okay, they're already into the chat, so you can copy them. So the question of, you can schedule it and we'll be happy to take it from there. Any questions?
Eric, first question is, if I were a customer What would I get from your perspective in working with both Cloudonix and Balto versus working with the two companies independently?
Well, working together and integrating the solutions together takes in that context that makes the Balto scripting more specific and to the point. So if you're working with a regular phone number or a regular IVR or other service, Balto is going to be able to bring up a rather generic, oh, you called on the sales phone number, we're going to give you a generic sales presentation. But like you showed here, I clicked on 1600, it brought up the, I see you're interested in 1600. What made you interested? It makes the conversation flow better. And because you can then take one phone number or one service and bring it into the various departments or various teams, and they know why you are calling. I mean, one thing that people hate is the unknown number or unrecognized number. Even worse than caller ID block. It's like, wait, that number, I don't know what it is. So for real estate, if the agent is getting a, hey, this call is coming in and it's a sales call, automatically they're in a different frame of mind for answering it than the, yeah, what are you trying to sell me mode? Okay, because they're not always in front of their computer. So these are the kinds of advantages that come in from that, because we can then hand context the Balto, which then Balto hands off to the agent and the CRM, which enables the sales call to happen better and faster. Okay, now the one question that came up on here is the better and faster really important? Okay, and as I mentioned, the statistics are showing that if you wait 5 minutes, you lose 15% for a callback. The company loses 15% chance of closing the deal. And for every additional hour, it's another 5%. So if you call back the next day, they don't know why you're calling or who's calling. This enables the call to happen immediately while they're hot. So they're eager to talk to a salesperson and make a deal. And the salesperson is prompted with exactly the information necessary to make the deal happen. Okay, so this is where it comes from our side. Now, Balto has great features, like I said, the fact that you don't need to either listen and whisper, randomly checking live calls, or as Mark was explaining, recorded calls makes a big difference. Okay.
Totally.
So,
Eric, that's one of the things that I think is super important, is that both of these experiences are lossless, right? And I'll give everyone kind of a fun example. When we first stood up our inbound sales team at Balto, for our company internally, and you requested a demo, we actually had a timer start, and the timer would show you as the customer, you're going to get a call in 60 seconds, and would go down, and people would be like, you gotta be kidding me. And then within 60 seconds, they get a call. That's how you start your relationship with a wow factor that says, we are so responsive. We are just here and able to help. So by the way, if anyone wants to hear how we did that, how did we rotate agents in so you could automatically make sure that you always hit your 60-second SLA, we can talk about that a little bit. But we actually moved to a demo system now where you can schedule it right yourself online. No need to talk to a representative at Balto. So we made that transition, and that losslessness that Cloudonix provides, that you're not waiting. I actually know a friend who has a real estate leads company just like this one. And he was saying after 4 minutes, forget about it. After 4 minutes, they're not picking up based on their data. So Cloudonix is making it so you guys are having that like zero latency experience. And on the Balto side, the rep gets the information when they need it. No delay between when you need it and when you got it. Right there. The manager clicks a button and is in the call, listening, coaching. There's no, well, who do I want to coach today? Let's see. Let me pull up some call recordings. So how do you take both those experiences and compress the unuseful time down to zero? That's what Cloudonix and Balto have done together.
Exactly. Thank you, Mark, for joining me on this. Thank you, everybody, for coming and listening to our webinar. We're just about out of time. So thank you all, and we look forward to hearing from you and hearing what you want to do or how your use cases are to make this better for all businesses.
Have a wonderful day, everybody. Talk soon.
Bye.